good day to you, fellow travelers of life's roads, both physical and digital. Welcome to Driving and Dragons. I'm Daniel, and this is where you come to experience a TTRPG road trip without ever leaving your house. Here we explore, restore, and give. We explore the B-roads of central Alabama and the fascinating world of tabletop role-playing games. We restore old cars and share commentary on how to restore games like Dungeons & Dragons to their old glory. And we give keys to awesome rides and tips for awesome games to those who choose to participate in the channel. So hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and consider supporting our journey down the TTRPG roads less traveled by donating via membership or super thanks, or by joining the rally over on Patreon. Wouldn't that be awesome? Cannon Con Run rally where patrons and subscribers all go cross-country to Gen Con or something. A man can dream. So, why are we here today? Well, it is time to get back to business on my ongoing in-depth analysis of the 9 alignment system introduced in Dungeons & Dragons. This time we switch gears and start tackling the evil alignments, specifically Lawful Evil. Lawful Evil is, for my money, the most useful alignment in the whole of the system. Not because it's better in some way, but because it has a lot of important and impactful uses in a metagame sense, meaning outside of game or of higher level. For one, it is the easiest to build an epic campaign around. Second, if you want to run evil PCs, it helps stabilize the situation and prevent idiotic or disruptive actions from, misapplication of alignment. Third, it provides a natural failsafe against those unexpected campaign enders, like where your ranger decides to take a pot shot at the principal villain during his speech in Session 2 and rolls a stack of back-to-back crits that result in death from massive damage or fatal critical or any number of other you one-shot at a guy with a 1 in a million shot scenarios. So what is Lawful Evil? Let's start with the refrain that you should be familiar with by now. It is not lawful and evil. It is evil. Evil with a mindset that sees lawful behavior as the most efficient means to accomplish evil ends. It takes a long view, and if you really want that misguided and misunderstood, well-intentioned bad guy, Lawful Evil is definitely your go-to. Of all the evil alignments, Lawful Evil characters are the most likely to truly believe that they are serving the greater good through their actions. A great example of this is Sauron from the Tolkien Legendarium. And now, by the time of the War of the Jewels, and really eons before that, Sauron is completely and irredeemably evil. He's completely corrupted by that point. However, what led to his corruption by Melkor was his desire to bring stability and order to the world. Sauron is in many ways a case of the greatest villains being the ones who fell from the greatest heights. In the beginning, Sauron felt that a well-ordered world would be better for everyone, and that's a noble thought. But by the time the readers meet him, he has long since gone so far as to feel that the perfect order can only come through complete and utter domination and slavery to the greatest power, Morgoth and later himself. So let's take a look at the 3rd edition definition of Lawful Evil. One thing I find of interesting note is that Lawful Evil has by far the longest description of the 9 alignments owing to its complexity. Quote, "A lawful evil villain methodically takes what he wants within the limits of his code of conduct without regard for whom it hurts. He cares about tradition, loyalty, and order, but not about freedom, dignity, or life. He plays by the rules, but without mercy or compassion. He is comfortable in a hierarchy and would like to rule, but is willing to serve. He condemns others not according to their actions, but according to race, religion, homeland, or social rank. He is loath to break oaths or promises. This reluctance comes partly from his nature, and partly because he depends on order to protect himself from those who oppose him on moral grounds. Some lawful evil villains have particular taboos, such as not killing in cold blood, but having underlings do it, or not letting children come to harm, if it can be helped. They imagine that these compunctions put them above unprincipled villains. Some lawful evil people and creatures commit themselves to evil with a zeal like that of a crusader committed to good. Beyond being willing to hurt others for their own ends, they take pleasure in spreading evil as an end unto itself. They may also see doing evil as part of a duty to an evil deity or master. Lawful evil is the most dangerous alignment because it represents methodical, intentional, and frequently successful evil. Unquote. Now, I do have some issues with this description. You can tell that the writers were struggling to come to terms with a criminal who doesn't break laws and thus isn't a criminal. That is one of those you zoomed in too close mistakes. In particular, within his code of conduct and he is loath to break laws parts. A lawful evil character does not necessarily have some kind of personal code, nor is he concerned with actually following laws. Making a show of following laws, sure. But lawful evil is more of a rules for thee but not for me kind of thing, with a healthy dose of the letter of the law and not the spirit kind of sprinkled on top. They are, at their core, evil. Meaning that they are self-centered in their thinking and selfish in their actions to the point that harming others is of no consequence as long as their goals are achieved. They simply take the rational approach that in the long term, systems of order and tradition and law allow them to accomplish these selfish ends more consistently and more completely. The evil character has absolutely no issue with robbing a shopkeeper, for instance. Legal or not, if he can somehow frame somebody else or get away scot-free, he'll rob the place to get what he wants. However, if he can use the systems and traditions of society to instead take the man's entire store, he will, at which time he will be all for those brutal steal and get hanged on the spot laws. In fact, he's likely to do a 180 after achieving his ends. Sure, that legal tradition was great when I needed it to seize your entire store from you, but I think now is a good time to revise that law or campaign against that tradition before somebody wants my store. The system is only important in that it achieves the end or protects the result. The reason that lawful evil has such utility is that the nature of lawful thought favors stability. Your big evil guy has a lieutenant waiting in the wings. You kill Melkor, well, you chain Melkor's feet to his head and throw him out into the void, and there's Sauron, waiting to take the throne and order the world to serve him. Why does Sauron not overthrow Melkor? Because the system that keeps him from rebelling against Morgoth is the same one that keeps Gothmog and Glamdron and Calagon and all the other powerful entities under him from deciding that his back is a ripe target for promotion. Same reason that you don't kill made men in La Cosa Nostra without approval from the boss, and you don't kill bosses without permission from all the other bosses. It isn't that they have issues with killing each other or to advance, or that it's killing rivals is a problem. It's that the same system that forces them to wait for the right moment also forces their rivals to wait for the right moment. The combination of long-term thinking and the ability to use systems in place to full advantage, and the fact that a ready replacement is the default setting, makes campaigns against lawful evil villains very hard to derail, especially through random chance. It also keeps those evil player characters in line when a player starts to feel like blowing up the party is a fun idea because, quote-unquote, I'm evil. Perhaps the most common failing of players and GMs seeking to run lawful evil characters is the same failing that we actually see with lawful good. The failure to grasp that the character's alignment is evil. He is evil, with a very well-ordered, structured, and long-term view of that evil. He has made up his mind to murder his rival. He is perfectly willing to knife him through the ribs in some back alley, regardless of how illegal or socially taboo killing a fellow citizen happens to be. However, the Lawful Evil character wants to find the best way to murder his rival and secure the most personal gain with the least risk in the process, and he is willing to delay gratification to minimize that risk, maximize that gain, preferably both. This is virtually every high-level politician and Hollywood climber in the real world, by the way. The level of egotism, self-centeredness, and willing to betray others, when convenient, necessary to thrive in those arenas, makes it more or less a requirement. The misuse of campaign funds and the infamous casting couch are both undeniably illegal and immoral. Their use is unquestionably evil. They are also well-established parts of those systems which are necessary for success. You may enter politics to change things and swear you will never allow your campaign funds to reward supporters with quid pro quos that are illegal but impossible to prove in court. But you'll soon find out that that's what everyone else is doing, so if you want to win, you will too. Otherwise, your supporters will just go support the guy who's willing to do those quid pro quos. Same thing in old Hollyweird. You don't want to get on the couch, hun? That's okay. Go back to Starbucks and tell that slightly less cute and way less talented coworker to come see me. She actually wants a part in a new TV show. Lawful Evil is about evil. Their mind just says, why risk a murder charge to get my hands on that shopkeep's building when I can get his son in debt to the wrong people and then force him to sign it over because I happen to know a guy who knows a guy that can make that all go away. That's what I've got for this one, guys. What do you think about Lawful Evil? Is Lawful Evil the best evil? Do you find that it makes it easier to determine the kinds of actions that your villains might take as a game master? And let me know down in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time.